Yes? Oop.
Wonderful.
Are we ready, Christopher?
Yes, sir. We are ready.
Seeing as we are technologically ready and it is 7 p.m., it is time to call the Monday, December 5th, 2022 Westfield, Washington Township Advisory Plan Commission to order. Will staff please note the presence of a quorum?
Kristen Berkman,
Here.
Matthew Deck,
Here.
Robert Horke,
Here?
Mike Johns,
Here.
Jeannie Keller, Andre Maui, Victor McCarty,
Here.
Dave Schmitz,
Here.
Cindy Spoljaric.
Here.
Thank you. It is not anticipated that either of the folks that are not present for roll call will be here. So we don't have to worry about pausing at the first vote to see if maybe they join virtually or anything like that. Item next is approval of our minutes of the November 21st, 2022 meeting. Do we have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
We have a motion from, who was that?
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion from Cindy Spoljaric, seconded by, where are you on my list? Oh, way at the top. Kristen Berkman. Everybody in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Meeting minutes are approved. Will staff please review the procedures, rules and procedures for tonight's meeting?
For items requiring a public hearing tonight's meeting has the following structure. The department will summarize the petition, then the petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present to the Plan Commission. The president will open a public hearing. Individuals will be given 3 minutes to speak. Those representing a group will be given 5 minutes to speak. Only one member of the group will be given 5 minutes to speak. For efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. The public hearing will be closed when all interested members of the audience have had a chance to be heard and all emails received during the meeting have been provided to commission members. The petitioner will be then given 10 minutes to respond to comments without interruption. The commission will follow all comments, questions, or concerns regarding the petition. This may include additional discussions with the petitioner. For items that do not require a public hearing, the department will summarize the petition and highlight any changes or modifications since the item was last before the Plan Commission. The department will also describe what action, if any, is necessary to be taken. The petitioner will be given up to 15 minutes to present any changes. The commission will then act upon the petition. Please do not disrupt the proceedings in any way. If you need to have a private discussion, then we ask that you please quietly exit the room. Please silence your devices at this time. If you must answer them, then please quietly exit the room. If you are attending in person and wish to speak in regard to a petition scheduled for a public hearing, then please line up along the west wall once the public hearing is open. Please sign the speaker sheet as you approach the podium to speak. For efficiency purposes, we ask that those representing a group speak first. During your comments, please state your name and address into the microphone for the record, and we ask that you do not repeat previously stated comments. Your presentation will be timed, and you will be advised when there are approximately 30 seconds remaining. If you are not attending in person, comments regarding a petition, they should be emailed to planners@westfield.in.gov with the petition name or number included in the subject line. Those comments will be forwarded to the Plan Commission members and the petitioner. We would like to remind everyone to please speak directly into the microphone so your comments can be put onto the record. Also, please mute your microphone when not speaking. If you come up to the podium to speak, please ensure that the microphone is on, as indicated by the green light on the base. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is our consent agenda items. There are 2 of them. Is there a motion to approve these consent agenda items?
Motion to approve the consent agenda items.
We have a motion from Victor McCarty. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Dave Schmitz. Will staff please call the roll?
Kristen Berkman,
Yes.
Matt Deck,
Yes.
Robert Horke,
Yes.
Mike Johns,
Yes.
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Dave Schmitz,
Yes.
and Cindy Spoljaric.
Yes.
Thank you. Consent agenda is approved. First item of business tonight is a Plan Commission Order 22-03. one of you, or Pam, are you on virtually? Or Kevin will present for staff? Okay.
All right, good evening, members of the Planning Commission. For the record, Kevin Todd with the Community Development Department. First item here before you this evening is a Order 22-03 sent to you from the Redevelopment Commission, who's proposing to amend the East Side Economic Development Area by removing certain residential parcels in order to comply with the rules of the Indiana Department of Local Government and Finance, which states that the residential parcels are not to be located within EDAs or economic development areas. So the Plan Commission's role this evening, which we do from time to time in this statutory process, is to determine that the declaratory resolution conforms with the comprehensive plan. And as outlined in your staff report for this item, these parcels identified here in the list are located within both the existing suburban area and the employment corridor and the Grand Junction or downtown areas of our comprehensive plan. So with that, we believe that the proposal is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and staff would recommend approval this evening. This does not require a public hearing. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any commissioners with questions for staff regarding the item in front of us? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve? Someone?
I'll make a motion to approve Plan Commission Order 22-03.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Matt Deck, seconded by Victor McCarty, to approve the Plan Commission order as presented. Will staff please call the roll?
Matt Deck,
Yes.
Robert Horke,
Yes.
Mike Johns,
Yes.
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Dave Schmitz,
Yes.
Cindy Spoljarek,
Yes.
Kristen Berkman.
Yes.
Very good. Unanimously passed, 7-0. Get my pages turned. Item next is another Plan Commission Order 2204.
Yeah,
I
again,
presume Kevin will sit in again?
that's right. Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Again, for the record, Kevin Todd, Community Development Department. This is really just like the item that we just heard, only for a different economic development area. This is for the Grand Junction Economic Development Area. Again, removing certain parcels that have been identified as residential, again, to which those really just do need to be removed from this EDA to be more in compliance with the rules of these things. As outlined in the staff report for this one, the relevant parcels fall either within, again, the Grand Junction or downtown area and the Family Sports Capital area of our comprehensive plan. I will say this one's a little bit different from the previous one in that when we were reviewing the parcel list, we identified, I believe it was 8 parcels, as shown here on the Exhibit 8 on the screen, or I'm sorry, Exhibit 6 on the screen, that we believe should be removed from this list. Simply, when we were doing our review, we found that these parcels either are commercially used or will be soon. They've been recently either purchased or acquired for commercial purposes. I think they probably showed up on this list because they aren't necessarily maybe zoned for commercial. So when the RDC was putting their list together, they just didn't flag the use. They were probably looking at it from a zoning lens. So we've gone through that. We think these should remain in the EDA. So as part of your recommendation, and my computer just closed here, hang on. So again, we would recommend approving this order with the condition that the parcels listed in this exhibit on the screen, Exhibit 6, be removed from the RDC resolution and remain in the Grand Junction EDA.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for staff? I assume all of this went back to the RDA to vet this, and it's just a matter of when the meetings fell that they have documentation that approved it, but they would be still in agreement with this?
Yeah,
Staff has not misinterpreted something?
That's
There was
right.
no disagreement that
that's right.
it's
We've been in
still pending?
communication with the legal counsel for the redevelopment commission. They're fully in agreement with this recommendation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, and if I may, this is Ashley Albrecht with Taft Law. If you have any questions for me, I'm available to discuss, but Kevin is correct. Everybody has been in communication with each other, and the condition that they are requesting in the staff report is acceptable.
Okay, thank you. So is there a motion to approve this? Is there another comment from a remote location? No, okay. So is there a motion to approve this with the 8 exceptions that are on the, well, were on the screen, that are on my screen in front of me here, being not included in the parcels to be removed?
I'll make a motion to approve Order 22-04 with the condition that the parcels listed in Exhibit 6 be removed from the RDC resolution and remain in the Grand Junction EDA.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by David Schmitz, seconded by Cindy Spaljerk to approve with retention of 8 parcels identified in an exhibit. Will staff please call the roll?
Robert Horke,
Yes.
Mike Johns,
Yes.
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Dave Schmitz,
Yes.
Cindy Spaljerk,
Yes.
Kristen Berkman,
Yes.
Matt Deck.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Moving on. I'll close tabs. We have 3 public hearing items, 2 of which can be grouped for comment purposes. They're City of Westfield requests, all of them. First is 2212-CPA-01 and 2212-ZOA-04. Kevin, are you
Yeah,
hitting for Pam again?
I'll give a brief introduction here to Mr. McConnell, but again, I guess for the record, Kevin Todd, Community Development Department. These 2 items on your agenda together constitute our park impact fee documentation that's necessary to have a park impact fee. State statute requires that it be updated every 5 years, so here we are doing this now. There, as mentioned, there are 2 components. One is the zone improvement plan, which is the first item on your agenda of the 2, and then the second one is the impact fee ordinance itself. Both components, again, are before you this evening for a public hearing, and action is being requested as well. Chris McConnell with Public Works is here to review this information with you, and following his remarks, feel free to open the public hearing as a joint public hearing. But once action is to be taken, we would like for those to be done separately.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. McConnell.
Recreation Superintendent for the City of Westfield. So there are 2 actions, as Kevin said. The first one is the adoption of the new zone improvement plan, which will become part of the comprehensive plan. The zone improvement plan is a document that actually comes out of the park's master plan. We do that every 5 years. It consists of a public input survey that is done and presented to the entire community so we can get their input. It also involves input from all of our staff as well as elected officials, so the mayor and several council members as well. And then we take all the findings from that document and they are turned over to the zone improvement plan, which goes through a tremendous amount of data as far as the city is concerned, a lot of demographics information. It also highlights and takes what is found in the Parks Master Plan, what we should focus on over the next 5 to 10 years in developing our parks, so capital improvement in our parks. Some of those things that were spelled out can be found, the general ones can be found on page 13. So the findings of both the master plan and the park zone improvement plan are here in trends and community input, which they found that we should be consistently focusing on development of trails and connectivity throughout the city, to continue to develop a safe trail crossing at streets. There was a high interest in adding and developing parkland with a balanced view of maintenance on existing facilities and adding new elements to those existing parks. A need for parks and amenities in the northwest and southwestern areas of the city. Combination of funding sources should be used for park growth, including private investment and donations, as well as the park impact fee. Splash pad and spray parks were also a high priority for the public. Increased opportunities for nature experiences and passive recreation, and then recreation and multipurpose green space and courts for youth sports. Those are all things that came out of the Parks Master Plan and have been accounted for in the Zone Improvement Plan. It is a very extensive document, and it goes through park by park and identifies everything that we would need to do and prioritizes that, and then also adds an estimated cost to that. And that gets us to and this is a very cumbersome document, so it goes actually through park by park with maps and lists of opportunities for us to do capital improvement at every single park. And once that is all established, it gets us to the findings for what our new park impact fee rate should be, which is, well, first of all, the impact fee, the zone improvement plan points out what our neighbors' impact fees are. So currently Carmel updated theirs 2 years ago and they're at $4,882. Noblesville 2 years ago as well at $2,118. Fisher's at $3,513 and theirs was done last year. And then it also reaches out into some of the other donut counties to show their impact fee as well. So through all of this, you get down to this table right here, which shows our impact costs projected over the next 5 to 10 years would be $49,790,000, minus non-local revenue, which is revenue that comes from grants and other funding sources from the state and federal level. And then minus the impact fee deduction, which an impact fee deduction are any other potential sources of funding that would be subtracted out. For example, taxes levied, which we do not have a parks tax for the city. And then it projects and divides by the projected number of new households in the community over the next 10 years, which gets you to the zone impact fee rate, which is $34.17 per new residential unit. And this is something that is assessed to new residential units, not existing residential units. And then the next table here shows over the next 5 years, there would be a automatic 2% increase in that fee for the duration of the new ordinance.
Is it typical to have that 2% increase every year in this arrangement?
It is typical. Not every community does it, but it is typical. If you look back up at this table here, which is state comparisons, Valpo does it. Greenwood has an annual increase as well. It's to be determined, obviously. Greenfield does, Avon does. So it is very common to have that 2% inflation.
All right, this item does require a public hearing, so before going further, at 7:20 p.m., I will open the public hearing. There are no members of the public in City Hall, but anybody that might be attending virtually that's interested in making a comment, please quickly type an email to planners@westfield.in.gov, and we will hold for about 2 minutes to give an opportunity for those to arrive if there are any, and then move on.
While we're waiting, I will note that we did receive via email towards the very end of today, an email correspondence about this. It's been added to your agenda, and I did forward it on to you and your email. So there has been one public comment so far.
Thank you. All right, it is now 7:22. In the absence of any email communications, public hearing is closed. Is there any further questions from commissioners to staff or the Parks Director? None appearing. We have 2 items that now need to be voted on individually. First being 2212-CPA-01. Is there a motion that we approve?
Bob, may I ask a quick
Oh.
question? I'm sorry. Chris, there's a lot of priority 1, 2, 3. How are you going to prioritize within the ones? Is there a plan for that? I just didn't see a kind of a list of.
There is not a plan, a guidepost per se, as to determine which priority ones and which priority two, or which priority ones take precedent over others.
Okay.
It is, a lot of it is based on what the public wants to see. A lot of it is also based on what elected officials want to see as well. So it's just a determination that, and it's also what we can do, what dollars we have. So we kind of go through and say, okay, we can do that at this point in time because we have the dollars available to do that. So those are kind of the 2 determining factors as to what priority ones take precedent first.
Do you do a yearly plan somewhat?
We try
based
to,
on-
but I am a department of 3. So it sometimes becomes very difficult for me to accomplish all of those planning things when I have a lot of other things on my plate to accomplish.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? If not, looking for a motion to approve the first item, CPA 01.
I'll make a motion to approve 2212 CPA-01 as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second? Oh, we have one from my left. Thank you. Motion by Matt Deck, seconded by Dave Schmitz. Will staff please call the roll?
Mike Johns,
Yes.
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Dave Schmitz,
Yes.
Cindy Spoljarek,
Yes.
Kristen Berkman,
Yes.
Matthew Deck,
Yes.
Robert Horkay.
Yes. Motion passes. We now need a motion to approve the zone improvement plan 2212-ZOA-04. Is there a motion from someone.
Motion to approve 2212 ZOA-04, or, no, we're sending a, I'm sorry, yeah, recommendation. Motion to send a positive recommendation of 2212 ZOA-04 onto council.
Thank you. I misspoke on that myself, calling it an approval, not a recommendation. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Victor Marty, second by Matt Deck, to send a favorable recommendation. Is staff ready to please call the roll?
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Dave Schmitz,
Yes.
Cindy Spoljarek,
Yes.
Kristen Berkman,
Yes.
Matt Deck,
Yes.
Robert Horke,
Yes.
Mike Johns.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on, we have an additional public hearing, this one regarding road impact fees, 2212-ZOA-5. This one is in front of us for a recommendation as well. Staff presentation, please.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. For the record, Kevin Todd with the Community Development Department. This item is maybe a little bit simpler than the one we previously looked at. This is simply an ordinance to extend the current road impact fee ordinance that we have on the books. The city is still working towards updating the zone improvement plan, which I believe will be before you next year, at which time we'll do all of the same steps that we just took for the park impact fee, again for the road impact fee. But the current ordinance expires soon, so the desire is to extend this one so we can have time to properly do the zone improvement plan.
And Kevin,
Yep.
Kevin, this is John Nail. I can provide some additional commentary if the APC would like.
Yeah, so John's on the line if you have additional questions or comments for him, and he can make some remarks as well. But similarly, this does require a public hearing. Has been noticed for that, and following the public hearing and John Nail's comments, the city's requesting action on this one this evening as well, which again would be making a recommendation to the council.
Yes.
So, John, go ahead.
John, please.
Yeah, so our road impact fee ordinance 17-43, per state statute, our road impact fees are, that ordinance is good for 5 years. And we have to do an updated study every 5 years to recalculate those road impact fee rates. We would have done the start of that study at least, which requires a lot of traffic volume collection, data collection in the Westfield city limits. We would have done that in 2021 to get this process started. However, we were monitoring traffic volumes, and with the effect of the pandemic, we were seeing significantly lower traffic volumes across Hamilton County. And so in talking with our consultant as well as other communities, what we wanted to do, rather than having erroneously low traffic volumes going into our road impact fee study for the next 5 years, we wanted to wait for that pandemic to conclude to see those traffic volumes get back to more normalized volumes and move forward with our study for the next 5 years in that fashion. So we are currently collecting traffic volume data. We have been for the last several months, and you will see an impact study and that study before you next year. In the meantime, what we are going to do, what we're proposing to do is extend our current road impact fee rate of 2022, which is $337 per trip, extending that into 2023 for the duration of 2023 until we can finalize that study and get that approval through the APC and council how we normally would on a 5-year time frame. So the point of this is that we had a global pandemic, traffic volumes were lower, they were erroneously low relative to what we would expect historically, and we are just simply asking to extend our road impact fee for that $337 per trip rate for 2023 rather than increasing it based on data that may or may not be there. So that's the whole point of this ordinance, and with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. This item also does require a public hearing, so before we move on to that, we'll see if there is any other comment to be brought in front of us. At 7:30 PM, I will open a public hearing on this item. Anybody that might be attending virtually, if you are planning to comment and haven't already, please quickly type an email to planners@westfield.in.gov and include the petition number, or just say road impact fee. And we'll close the public hearing at 7:32 unless there's a flood of emails. It is now 7:32. No further emails. Public hearing is closed. Are there any commissioner comments, questions regarding any of this?
I have one question. I'm thinking that when Pam did this in her staff summary, it says the road impact fee would apply to new residential development within the city's corporate limits. And maybe that was a carryover from the Parks and Rec plan and not this one. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
Yep, that's a good
It's
catch.
New residential and commercial.
Yeah,
It
that's what I
applies.
thought. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for that clarification. Any other questions? If not, this is in front of us for a recommendation to council. Is there a motion to send a recommendation?
Make a motion to send a positive recommendation for 2212 ZOA-05 to council.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Victor McCarty, seconded by Kristen Berkman. Would staff please call the roll?
Victor McCarty,
Yes.
Dave Schmitz,
Yes.
Cindy Spoljarek,
Yes.
Kristen Berkman,
Yes.
Matthew Deck,
Yes.
Robert Horke,
Yes.
Mike Johns.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. That completes our scheduled items of business for tonight. We have several items that are continued. We also, everybody has perhaps noted, have one item that was withdrawn, amendment to the Town Road Crossing PUD that had an introduction and is now no longer going forward. Takes us now to reports and comments. First up, General Plan Commission member comments. Do we have any commissioners with general comments for us or staff?
Just real quick on that note of the town road crossing being withdrawn, I think that's unfortunate. It'd been a real unique opportunity for our community, and I hope developers don't see that and say, oh, well, not gonna be building anything unique. But I would love to see something else like this come through if anyone's listening. Just want to make sure we're getting some positive developments for our community that diversifies what we have to offer. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other general comments? If not, is there a downtown update from Kristen Berkman this meeting?
Sure. Last Monday, we did a presentation for council on this first phase for the State Road 32. And so I believe that council was pretty positive to keep moving forward. And so at this point, Jeremy Lawler, who's here tonight, is going to head that up with MKSK from the construction drawing standpoint. So those designs are moving forward. Kevin, I don't know if we would, are we having a second meeting this month?
Yeah, that's, yes, tentatively, that's the plan. If we will have good attendance at that meeting, I know that's the week kind of leading up to Christmas. So, historically, there's a chance we may not have a full house on that night, but yes, I think we have some things we can talk about. Is this something you wanted to maybe put on that agenda?
Well, I could bring MKSK's presentation from what they were showing at council, just to kind of show everybody if the Plan Commission's interested in seeing that during the workshop.
I think
Shouldn't
that
take too much time.
From an
but-
agenda perspective, I think that would be fine.
Okay.
I don't think we'll have a terribly full agenda, so.
Okay,
If we end up meeting.
okay, great.
But that was gonna be my update or question at the end here, just to, if people think that they may not be able to make the meeting on the 19th, if you could let me know, that'll help us in planning whether or not to have a workshop meeting on December 19th. So we probably will have some business. It may not be a PUD to review, but it also might, depends on the Woods Robinson project. I think that's the only one that might be ready for that one, but as of today, it's not. But we still have time, so. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. That was my update, so you can skip me at the end.
Thank you. City Council Liaison.
Well, first, before I forget, a nice little thing that we now have at least some video in our workshop setting, which I thought we would only have audio, but at least now it's capturing the screen. So if you happen to miss the workshop meeting and want to catch up, it is more than just the audio. You get to see the screen too. So I was very happy to see that. Council met November 28th, and as Kristen said, we got the update from MKSK and Kristen, so appreciate that. Jeremy Lawler provided the third quarter budget review. The fiscal plan and annexation were approved for 785 and 787 West 193rd. The ordinance creating term limits for city council, mayor, and clerk treasurer was approved, with mayor being 2 terms, city council being 2 terms, and clerk treasurer being 3 terms. An ordinance was approved vacating public alleyway in the Union Square area. The non-elected salary ordinance was tabled until the next meeting to get a little bit more information on the salary ranges and stuff like that. The elected official salaries for 2023 will remain at the 2022 levels. There will not be a 4% increase as originally proposed. We approved an ordinance authorizing the clerk treasurer to make fund transfers. That's something we do annually. An ordinance appropriating RDC funds for legal services was approved conditionally, basically adding it as contingent on review of the more final numbers. Mike might be able to talk more about that if need be at the December 27th council meeting. So kind of a new thing. We have never had a situation where the RDC was paying for its legal expenses. So all the things to do, say with the Grand Park agreement, if there is one coming in a potential sale, but just all our different agreements in the TIF areas, that's typically come out of admin. And so this is gonna now be the effort to make that come out of the RDC's budget itself. So we're trying to get that for 2022, and then it's already budgeted in the budget for 23. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeremy. It was a long meeting. We approved the additional appropriation for the 32 streetscape services, design only. A resolution was approved establishing procedures to record appointments to boards and commissions. We have a situation right now where we don't really have everything marked down anywhere. And so there's a bit of a confusion on who serves when and how long. So we will be fixing that. An abatement request was introduced for a tax abatement for Insects Limited. And the 2023 meeting dates were approved. That's it.
Thank you. believe BZA did not meet between our last meeting and now, nor did Plat Committee, so no reports there, and Kevin already did his report. So, just don't do it again. Exactly. So, we're ready to hear a motion to adjourn. Do we have such a thing?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion from Matt Deck, seconded by Victor McCarty. We can do this by voice vote. Everybody in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed to adjourning? We're adjourned at 7:40.
Thank you all for letting me appear telephonically tonight. I've been